It is Yoda Monday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. Together as a team, let us chant the following lesson. How do we transcend stress control? Oh, here we go. How do we transcend stresses, control over our choices, utterances, and deeds? The Buddha's Eightfold Path. How do we transform our survival instincts from being our tyrant to merely being our tool? 1 moment. Insert home. Whoops. That's not it. Insert syllable O. Insert home. Do it again. Insert I. Again with the O. Insert. Let's find the O. And the U. I am looking for the U. There it is. Okay. Let's try it again from the top of the page. How do we transform our survival instincts from being our tyrant to merely being our tool? The Buddha's Eightfold Path. What about the Holy Grail of enlightenment itself? What if enlightenment was merely the mastery of the Buddha's Eightfold Path? But what is mastery? As a little child, I found that... let's try this again. As little children, we found the tying of horseshoes to be a daunting task. But after what seemed like a great amount of time, tears, and repeat instructions, we finally got so good at tying the sneakers that we could do so. Spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. The same held true for potty training, dental hygiene, bicycle riding. Likewise, we could so master the Buddha's Eightfold Path. The 7th and 8th folds of the path are mindfulness as well as meditation. And when practiced correctly, they are the key to the path. Mindfulness and meditation could be the engine that turns the metaphoric wheels of the Buddha's enlightenment machine. When practiced authentically, mindfulness and meditation could calm our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression, and stimulate our anterior cingulate gyrus, the seat of empathy. This is why the late Tulku Thondup insisted that the highest love was not the result of focus or analysis, but rather the spontaneous and uncontrived byproduct of mindfulness and meditation. The significance of this cannot be overstated, for loving kindness comprises 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. The second folds kind intention, the third folds kind communication, the fourth folds kind conduct, and the fifth folds kind calmness. Persist in the consistent, enthusiastic, and correct practice of mindfulness as well as meditation. And you could find that your choices, utterances, and deeds could flow with the effortless effort of love-centered spontaneity, which is the sixfold right effort. One moment. This seems a bit redundant. I gotta find it. Let's see here. Okay. And you can find that your choices, utterances, and deeds could flow effortlessly. From love-centered spontaneity, which is the sixfold right effort. On second thought, it was probably better the way it was. But what about the first fold? What about the first fold, the view of realities? Literal impermanence and figurative emptiness that support letting go. You could sit in mindfulness as well as meditation and strive to see permanence, but you'll never find it. Instead, you'll be assailed with perceptions of sight, sound, sensations, flavors and scents ever shifting in a manner ranging from the subtle to the jarring. The internal is no difference. Mindfulness and meditation rub or face in the ever-changing nature of our emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. Mindfulness and meditation are the keys that unlock our mastery of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. A mastery that he taught could be accomplished in less than 7 years, 7 quarters, 7 months, 7 fortnights, 7 weeks, or even 7 days. This is why the Buddha taught mindfulness and meditation. So I'd like to shift gears now and begin this morning's begin this morning's first group meditation. And we shall do so after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I could become your nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. So I'm going to tap button 9, take us over to our practice text. Please chant with me. Whatever comes, may all beings let it come. Whatever stays, may all beings let it stay. Whatever goes, may all beings let it go. Welcome to the first of 5 mindful crease counting meditations. And just as we explored during last night's class, the first pillar of Bengali crease counting is what we do with our right hand. Over the span of 12 inhalations, we could advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We now come to the second pillar. Multiply those, we can multiply those 12 inhalations over the span of 4 sets for a total of 46 inhalations. And we could keep track of those 4 sets on our left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of 12 inhalations each. This brings us to the third pillar of Bengali crease counting, energy work, working with both our hands simultaneously. When we we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger, upon the tip of our left little finger, palms up in our lap. When we do, we gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce in the bladder region of our lower abdomen. Each time we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception. You know, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, including emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. Each time we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, we are similarly wired to physically relax and mentally release that which we noticed during our previous inhalation. Together as a team, let us practice the essence of mindfulness and meditation right now. But first, allow me to remind you, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist philosophy, or Buddhist meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. Okay, so I'm going to tap button 14. And I'm going to switch the text. Sadly, there's no elegant way to do that. All right, here we go. Welcome to the wrong way to meditate. Sturgeon's Song reminds us that 90% of everything's not in the fun tingly way. This includes humanity, even those who fancy themselves teachers of meditation. According to Buddhist mythology, Gautama, who was known as the Buddha, was rather flexible, loving, rational, laid-back, lucid, egalitarian, cooperative, and kind. This is why many people are enthusiastic to emulate his example. Many people, that is, other than his foolish cousin Devadatta. Let's see, gotta throw some hyphens in there. Devadatta. Make sure that fits on the screen. Cool. What was he like? Devadatta was rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, cryptic, elitist, competitive, and cruel. Whoops. Try that again. A little bit here. And let's make sure this fits on the screen. It does. Gautama's path could be let's try this again. Gautama's path could be described by many terms, including inner spiritual matriarchy. And Devadatta's path, and Devadatta's as yang or religious patriarchy. Statistically, the majority of meditation teachers unwittingly follow in the footsteps of the Buddha's foolish cousin. Therefore, it should come as little surprise that these individuals implore the students to actively focus and analyze. They might even use labels like analysis, contemplation, vipassana. Whenever I throw a word in a different language, I like to hyphenate it. Now, sadly, this might not fit on the page. Now, did I mispronounce analysis? Doesn't look like it. Samatha, concentration, or even mindfulness. Oh, wrong button. Whoops, really wrong button. Damn. Even though that final term is often willfully misapplied. The only way to practice either active focus or active analysis or both is to rely upon discrete neural pathways such as our medial prefrontal cortex or dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Overuse of such regions triggers our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression. We want to capitalize amygdala because it's the big baddie here. Let's hyphenate it while we're at it. Mig. La. This is clearly antithetical to the peace, love, and joy that lure us into what we hope is the Buddha's path of meditation. Far better it is to practice mindfulness and meditation in reliance upon our autonomic nervous system. Wow, that was really sucky. Been having a problem with that last 48 hours. For doing so when I say that, I'm referring to accidentally deleting a word. For doing so could calm the anxiety and aggression of our amygdala, as well as incite the empathy of our anterior cingulate gyrus. With consistency, we could even cause our choices, utterances, and deeds to habitually flow from the effortless effort of love-centered spontaneity. This is why the Buddha taught mindfulness and meditation. Excuse me. Welcome to the second of 5 mindful crease counting meditations. Let us notice the play of mind and relax into its non-graspable nature. I shall now inelegantly switch texts to the right way to meditate. Please chant with me. Nothing dispels the disinformation, misinformation, mythology, and superstition surrounding mindfulness and meditation, quite like neuroscience. Let us begin by considering mindfulness. Every time we inhale, we are wired to access the sympathetic nervous system, ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way. Our sympathetic nervous system has evolved to help us notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. Quick edit, because that's how we roll sometimes. Let's hit cut. Over. Colon. Okay, let's make sure that fits. Fabulous. Okay, thank you for your patience. Personally, when I die, I do not wish to be buried and have a tombstone. I wish to be composted, returned to the earth. But if I had a tombstone, it would say, oh, wait, let me edit something real quick. Please indulge me. This bad boy has evolved to help us notice in a very special way. All right, together. But what have we evolved to notice? Aha, that's the magic word. Let's capitalize it. But what have we evolved to notice? We have evolved to notice perceptions such as seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like. We have also evolved to notice the full spectrum of human emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings. If this mindfulness is the natural function of our sympathetic nervous system, then why do we sit down every 12 hours or so to formally practice? Whoops. That's just weird, isn't it? Oh my. Text. To compete against our sympathetic nervous system, and instead we set space for these two to cooperate. But what are we to do with all that we notice? With each inhalation we are wired to notice all manner of thing, from the internal to the external, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful. From the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. What are we to do with all the stuff? Meditate. So come let us explore the neuroscience of meditation. Each time we exhale, we are wired to effortlessly and automatically access our parasympathetic nervous system. Oh, you're welcome. Which is divided between the lower third, and the upper third of that same spinal cord we mentioned previously. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support our physical relaxation and mental release of that which we noticed during our previous inhalation, to the point that that which we note. Let's see. Feel like this can be removed. To the point that which we notice could feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Now any good English teacher could remind us that a simile is only as effective as it is relatable. Thus we have to ask the question, what is a real-world example of a non-graspable vast empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although compelling to the eye, is not graspable to the hand? Thus we could see emptiness only makes sense when seen through a flexible worldview that accepts that not all statements are literal, requiring blind faith or pseudo-intellectual gymnastics. I forgot a noun. Whoops. One might ask if this relaxing and releasing is a natural behavior of our parasympathetic nervous system. Then why bother sitting in mindfulness and meditation every 12 hours or so? Each time we silently and mentally recite the one suitable FREEBIES during our exhalation, we are interrupting the habit of our clever cerebral cortex to actively compete against our parasympathetic nervous system, and instead open space for these two to cooperate in a delightfully therapeutic manner. This is why the Buddha taught mindfulness and meditation. Okay. And now let us practice what we just chanted. Whoops. Please chant with me. With so many teachers and authors offering to teach us how to meditate, often for a substantial fee, how are we to know upon which teacher or technique we should rely? Should we rely upon the teacher with the greatest beauty, fame, popularity, acclaim with resume, credentials, or letters of recommendation? No, no, and no. The proof of the pudding is in the tasting, and we test the effectiveness of a teacher's guidance in the laboratory of our body and mind. Here's how. So I think it'd be even better if I hit that button there and hit that button there, and let's make sure this fits on the page. First we find a teacher regardless of gender or nationality and request teachings. Then we enthusiastically practice the technique we are given for at least 5 minutes every 12 hours or so for 7 consecutive days. Note if we're not up to the task of practicing thusly, then the selection of a teacher is simply not our biggest problem. After the conclusion of the second practice on the 7th day, we vulnerably gaze within and ask, has this week of practice increased my peace and love? If yes, then mazel tov, you found a teacher for whom you could benefit. If not, whoopsie, let's capitalize the word not because that's how I roll. If not, then follow up with that teacher if they won't or can't help you. Then to hell with them, find a better teacher for you at this time. Know the test of it. No, take two. Know the test of a teacher's wisdom is not whether his teachings match with all preconceptions. Such a metric will only ensure we'll never grow beyond where we're at now. And for goodness sake, let us not put ourselves in the hands of a greedy fool who would sell the Buddha's teachings. For although optional donations could be lovely, the greatest offering we could make is simply the enthusiastic application of their instructions. If we wish to follow in the footsteps of the Buddha, be he real or merely archetypical, then we must bring a scientist's curiosity and enthusiasm to be methodical into our spiritual journey. If it sounds inconvenient, I'm not sure if that should be an apostrophe. If it sounds inconvenient, maybe even a little scary, there is probably a very good reason for that, but is it worth the inconvenience? The Buddha thought so. This is why the Buddha devoted his talents and time to teaching mindfulness and meditation. Excuse me. Now, together as a team, let us vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly notice mind's antics, and then silently, and then relax into its non-graspable nature. Let's chant. A reoccurring phrase in both the Mahayana as well as Tantric literature. Make sure that fits on the page. That's pretty close. Is the Tathagata Gautama or Buddha nature? In this charming higher nature, no phrase hinted that enlightenment is our birthright and easily attained, without requiring heroic effort or noble sacrifice. Sounds great, sign me up, but the mystery remains how is one to realize it? One of the many advantages to living in this age is that medical professionals have access to sophisticated imaging technology of which the ancients could have never conceived. Functional magnetic resonance imaging or fMRI studies have revealed that it is our sympathetic nervous system that is the seat of mindfulness or sati. Our parasympathetic nervous system that is the seat of meditation or samadhi, and our anterior cingulate gyrus that is the seat of our loving kindness or metta. It is these three structures that comprise our Buddha nature, but a villain lurks. Just as the Buddha's foil was his foolish cousin Devadatta, so too is the team of our prefrontal cortex the seat of concentration and analysis, and our amygdala the seat of anxiety and aggression. The opponent to the mechanism of our Buddha nature. Just as a surgeon's scalpel can be used to take lives as well as save them, so too could both the prefrontal cortex as well as the amygdala be either used or abused. The solution to this dilemma is twofold. The easy method to strike the match of enlightenment already in our grasp is to allow our sympathetic nervous system to mindfully do its thing during our inhalations, and to let our parasympathetic nervous system to meditatively do its thing during our exhalations. Yes, I think those prepositions are clunky. The sitting in formal mindfulness and meditation every 12 hours or so, we set space to live for more empathetic, anterior cingulate gyrus effortless and automatically. A delightful fringe benefit of this is the manner in which our choices, utterances, and deeds begin to flow from the effortless effort of love-centered spontaneity. The key to the sustainable use of our analytical prefrontal cortex as well as our primal amygdala. This is why the Buddha taught mindfulness and meditation. We now come to the fifth of 5 mindful crease counting meditations. This is the final meditation of this morning's live stream, so let's make it count. Please chant with me. Whatever comes, may all beings let it come. Whatever stays, may all beings let it stay. Whatever goes, may all beings let it go. You've taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 9 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.